Hello, everyone. Everyone in, which is October 31st, which is, as we're recording this, tomorrow. So today we have Katie Cummings from Pink Umbrella Theater Company joining us again. And she has two of their artists, Ash and Clayton, who are going to be interviewed by our Barbara Leigh. And as I have always done, Barbara, I am going to turn it over to you. To listen in and let you do your wonderful interviews.
Thanks so much, Jory. Well, welcome to this interview process, Ash, Katie, and Clayton. I'm so curious to know more about you. So let's start off with you telling me a bit. So let's see, who wants to start? Eeny, meeny. How about you, Ash?
Hey, Barbara.
Tell us who you are and how you got involved in this wonderful organization. Were you a child prodigy?
I wish I was a child prodigy, but I'll explain a little more of it.
Cool.
So, hello, everyone. My name is Ash, short for Ashley, Ley. I'm 25 and I'm from West Dallas, and I've been doing theater for about 13 years.
Wow.
Well, I would have said 14, but I started a little before I turned 12 with my first show in the community theater. Anyway, how I got introduced to the program with Pink Umbrella is that a month after I graduated from Cardinal Church University, I was looking for something to do within the community, but then a friend of my mother pulled up the name of the Pink Umbrella Theater Community, and they explained that they offer classes, improv, vocal lessons, ensemble courses, and I figured I register for one of them just to get my feet wet, and I actually enjoyed the experience and would do it all over again.
Excellent.
Knowing that I saw friendly faces, I learned new things, especially with the American Sign Language, with how to communicate with those in hearing and seeing.
How cool. Well, thank you. So Clayton, can you introduce yourself a bit?
Okay. My name is Clayton Mortal. I am 24 years of age. I first got my start in theater in middle school in 8th grade, about 9 years ago. Yeah, 9 years ago. I played the role of the stage manager in Thornton Wilder's play Our Town,
Wow.
age 14. And that basically resulted in me getting bitten by the acting bug, which drives me to, I guess, be here today doing theater.
Yes. Well, you have a wonderful voice too. That
Oh,
always helps.
Thank you.
Super.
Sorry.
So when did you get involved with Pink Umbrella?
I got involved with Pink Umbrella. I forget when exactly it was, but I do remember that Katie and I first got involved in classes at, I believe it was Plymouth Church in the east side of Milwaukee, nearby UWM, and these were group classes. They were nice, they were lovely. Unfortunately, there were times when it didn't really fit the best for me personally, because I can't really work that well in group settings per se. And so I just kind of took a short little hiatus from Pink Umbrella up until COVID-19 hit us. And I started doing virtual classes, March or April, I believe, with James Fletcher.
Oh, love James. He's great.
James Fletcher with the Shakespearean monologues.
Nice.
And Ali Bonesho, I think her name is, with musical theater. And that was absolutely fantastic experience. It's been lovely working with all those people so far. And now I'm working with, I'm still working with Fletcher on the Shakespeare monologues, and I'm uh, doing musical theater with Ryan, somebody named Ryan. And
Cool.
um, I am also gonna start doing voiceover lessons with a guy named Mitch. About I think next week is when I start. And
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, so these guys are gonna put my voice to good use, I guess. Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. So tell us why you wanted to continue this work. It sounds like it's been a process where you're finding more and more ways in which your gifts can be developed and you can kind of go places with this.
Oh, absolutely. Really, I think the most enthralling aspect about theater and the reason why I keep doing it is because I just love doing it, and it's such a great passion of mine, and it's helped me through some rather difficult patches in my life. It's been one thing that has remained a constant source of happiness and, you know, joy in my life.
Oh,
And yeah, granted, I suffer from a great deal of anxiety, social anxiety, which kind of results in me kind of missing out on some opportunities in the past. But well, I'm trying to work through it now, and also I this provides me with a very consistent thing in life for me to look forward to. And I would say that, yeah, I would say that although my anxiety kind of limits me in some aspects, it doesn't limit me in every aspect, obviously,
yes.
but I just love to do it.
That's
I
so
hope that
cool.
answered your question because I was rambling on a little bit.
No,
It's
it's
okay.
great.
That's okay.
How about you, Ash? Why do
I
you
can,
want to continue doing this?
it's been part of my life for over a decade, and I feel it provides like a welcoming atmosphere to welcome new individuals who are just getting their feet wet into theater. I knew there's going to be a lot of new things. Like theater is just like my way of having therapy, except you have it with different people. You do it with a specific task and you talk a lot and it just feels you at ease. And I know there's like a lot of things in theater that I don't know as of yet, but I'm still waiting to come across to it as I proceed on. Because, and that's one song from Hamilton, there's a million things I haven't done, but just you wait. And I feel like this kind of defines why I still want to continue theater.
It's so interesting. When you think about anxiety and you think about the pressures of being in theater and remembering lines and remembering to do all the, it seems like it would increase anxiety. And yet there seems to be something kind of magical connection that happens when you kind of lose yourself and kind of go in that flow, and suddenly you kind of disappear and the character appears and wow. So Katie, why did you start this company? It sounds like it's very magical for the people involved. How about you? How are you feeling these days about what you're doing?
Magic is definitely one way to describe what's happening, even through the computer screens, right? While we went virtual, as Clayton mentioned, back in March. And the theater was really created out of this desire. I worked for another company here in town, and we had a program there for individuals on the autism spectrum and other developmental differences, and they grew up and needed a place to go. So 2 years ago, and we just turned 2 in September of 20.
Wow. Oh,
2020. We started in 2018, and we've had over 70 individuals ages 4 through adult take classes with us since we started. So Clayton and Ash actually were 2 of our very first students in our adult ensemble classes last summer. And you know, we really wanted to create a space to make sure that all people who identify with a disability felt that they had a place to share their stories, share their talents, you know, and really come together, as Ash mentioned, as a community, right? Like every class is unique. Every show that we do as theater artists is unique. And it does feel like therapy a little bit. I would agree with her, right? Like you're coming together and sharing your thoughts and ideas. And our hope is to always be here in the city of Milwaukee to provide a platform for disabled actors and artists to change the narrative, right? And show what theater looks like with a unique perspective, with our unique perspectives. So that's really where we started and kind of where we're heading.
excellent. So I'm hoping that this will kind of serve as a platform too to get other people involved. So how would people get involved with Pink Umbrella? And any more reasons why they should?
Sure. So I'll kind of talk about how to get involved. If Ash and Clayton, if you guys can chime in with why you think people should take. So right now we are virtual. We've had students this summer from coast to coast. We had students in California all the way to Boston.
Wow.
So people can take classes. We've got one-to-one sessions. We have free classes in the evenings. We've got ensemble classes happening throughout the year. And I think we're always going to continue to have an online platform, even when we're able to gather back together in person, because it does work for individuals with maybe some sensory sensitivities or individuals who have transportation barriers, right? Like this is it's a really great platform to continue, you know, to work. And our website has all of our information. So that's the best, you know, that's the best route to go. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and we're constantly announcing like what's coming up next. And then eventually in 2021, we will have performances, and those notices will go out for auditions. And we'll do performances via Zoom. That's our plan for after the new year. But Ash, maybe you can start with a couple of reasons why you think people should take classes, and then Clayton maybe follow up.
All right. The reason I think others should get involved with Pink Umbrella, because like, again, this is like a welcoming environment, and like the attention is basically on everybody, divided equally, if not more. And you have like time to learn on new techniques and new tasks, learn about the history of each play content that comes by. It provides a lot of courses that you don't even see in a traditional theater program. Like there's the super villains and the superhero courses. I'm currently taking the super villain courses, and it is so evil.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, I'm having a blast, and I can promise those courses that Pink Umbrella provides will be amazing, and you'll have a great time, and you might want to encourage other people to join up because of how you were able to experience it.
Super. Thank you. Clayton, what do you think?
Well, I personally would say, I mean, Pink Umbrella has provided me with a lot of great experiences. I mean, having actors like Leigh Ernst and, you know, I forget a bunch of other people, but they've all come in to show up for the Shakespearean classes that Fletcher has to offer. And I mean, if you are in fact a disabled person and you really don't feel like you want to have a sense of purpose, if you feel like you have it within you and you really want to try this, I say go for it. I say go to Pink Umbrella and see what classes they have to offer and get in what you can get in, because I believe that really if your heart and your mind is in it, you should be able to do it regardless of, whatever kind of obstacles there may be.
Oh, thank you so much. I think, well, as a theater artist myself, I can totally testify to the amazing way that it takes us out of ourselves and into another world and a way to understand other people. Are there any particular stories that any of you have that were kind of galvanizing for you, that suddenly you went, aha, this is really what I want to do? How about
I
you?
have one if Ash doesn't have one.
Okay.
If you're ready, you can go first, Clayton.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. So, well, there are like a couple of stories I could bring up,
Cool.
but just very quickly, there was one story I wanted to bring up really quickly now that I mentioned it, about Leigh Ernst, who is a prominent actor in the Milwaukee Repertory Theater. Also, Brian Mani, who Fletcher also had with us, joining us. They both were really complimentary about how I delivered monologues for them and how I, was able to get that across to them. And Brian Mani actually was playing the role of Falstaff in The Merry Wives of Windsor in the last production that the Folger Theater in Washington, D.C. held
Wow.
before COVID hit that area. And he said something to me that I will never forget. He said, boy, after hearing you play the role of, or read that monologue, I wish I'd have heard you do it before I went to DC. And
Wow,
that really was like, wow, I can't believe he just said that. And
wonderful.
there is another one that I had in mind.
Yes.
It's a little longer, but I just wanted to get the first one out of the way because I love that so much.
Go
And,
for it.
and okay, so this next story, so the first play I was ever in was Our Town, as I had mentioned. I was playing the stage manager, 8th grade, age 14. And about 8 years after that, in 2019, New Berlin West, which is the school I went to, they did that production again, this time with the high schoolers. And I went to go see it because I was like, hey, this might be a little throwback for me, a little bit of nostalgia coming in. And I decided that I would give a special gift to the person who was playing the stage manager 8 years on. And so I went to go see it. I sat near the front row just so I could see and hear what was going on. And the actor who played the stage manager did a fantastic job. Probably even better than me, honestly. It's my first time anyway. And after the show, I stood up and applauded, gave him a standing ovation just to show my appreciation and support for the same theater company or theater group that basically gave me the initiative to do this and to turn my life into what it is today. And after the show ended, I met with the actor who played the stage manager, and I gave her the gift that I was planning to give, which is, so I bought a black fedora that I wore on stage, specifically for this role, actually. And I said to her, this is the hat that I wore while playing the stage manager 8 years ago, and I want you to have it. And she said, can I give you a hug? And so she did. And she later came to Mrs. Smith, who was directing the production in 2019 and also did the one in 2011. and who has also been a huge mentor to me, at least in the early years and beyond, and who's still one of my biggest cheerleaders today, I could say. She said that the actor came to me with tears in her eyes, just crying over how that gift was, and it was definitely an emotional experience, and definitely one I won't forget.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
I almost didn't want to talk about it because I felt like that would be puffing myself up a little bit too much or being too facetious or whatever, but
No,
that was just a story I thought of.
well, what I love too is that it shows the kind of generous spirit that can be fostered by theater. The fact that you would give her a gift means that you weren't hanging on to your own, ability to do that part. You were saying, hey, there's talent out there that I want to help support. And that's
Yeah.
just such a powerful thing. Thank
Mhm.
you for that. Really
No
appreciate it.
problem.
Ash, do you have a story for us?
I do have one, and this is based on like the challenges that I have faced as a performer myself. And this is like a 2 month span of how it all went down. So like I knew back at 2016, the school I was attending was doing the production of Godspell, and they were having auditions. But there was a week prior to that, and this was like the news that hit me hard. Like my father passed away from cardiac arrest, and I spent like the week crying, and I'm just kind of debating on like I don't know if I wanted to do this audition because I'm still not over my dad's passing, and I was just kind of like sucking up all the courage that I have and just did my piece for my audition. And I'm just glad I was able to pull it together during the process. And when I got into the show, I was just like over the moon. And I was like, I didn't know that this emotional breakdown of my grieving could suddenly get me into a cast list, not only as a person in the ensemble, but with a solo at the end of the first act.
Wow.
And offering me more opportunities. And I'm like, I'm suddenly speechless right now. And as time went on, I fast forward to Tech Week of Godspell. This really hit hard because this is also the same time of the 2016 elections, and everybody was just losing it.
Mhm.
It's just like everybody's stressed, everybody's angry, but our directors told us to like, don't let that get into you. But I'm just like, I cannot do this like anymore. But then I had some friends that were also in the show that did tell me to like, everything's gonna be fine, you're gonna do great. And those words of affirmation just kind of kept me going as a performer. I mean, this is the time frame and event that changed the definition of how I perform, not just standing there in lights and smiles and all the time, but it's just real adrenaline that you feel as a performer and as a character, that I forward this message to my future performances to this day.
Wow. That's so cool. And I think it shows too how being able to be part of a cast, everybody working together is so powerful. It's such a way of feeling like you're not alone, and you really are not. You're really part of something that's so creative and that's going to carry you forward. And that's such an important part of what we're trying to do with this next election and with this country. It's like if everybody could just take theater courses.
I mean, it's not just that. Like, also in between, I took a course called Voice and Movement, and it teaches us like how to do like warm-ups properly, to be able to reflect, and exercises. And then there's some exercises that can cause an emotional trigger, which is kind of a healthy way of venting. And this is oddly enough the same time that I was going through some struggles.
Yes, yes.
And that changed me.
Thank you so much. This has just been so powerful. And thank you, Katie, for getting us all together and for doing this wonderful work.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
This is great. Thank you, Jory, for bringing this, all of us together with everyone in. I really hope that everyone joins us tomorrow and gets to see you all. It's just been so inspiring to meet you and hear your stories and about your lives. Thank you. It's been great.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
all-
having. thank you for
all
having
very
us.
much. I mean, the power that Ash, Clayton, the power that you brought through in your stories, that's all about what it is we want to do. We want to change lives. We want to touch lives, because somebody may hear what you said and the change comes and it's their time, they're ready, and they want to get on stage. They want to try this. And that's what this is all about. So thank you so much.
Mhm.